Carrie and I'm with Sonic Farm Video. We create athletic highlight reels, and today I would like to help you create your own highlight reel using the Trace platform. Trace is a soccer recording device that uses AI technology to follow your player on the field. In this video, we're going to cover how to navigate the Trace platform, how to pull your clips, how to organize your clips, and then finally how to export your clips, either to yourself so that you can post on social media, or possibly directly to a coach, or even handing them off to an editor like myself so that they can make the highlight reel for you. All right, are you ready to get started? All right, the first thing I'm gonna do is open my email, go to my Trace email that tells me my highlights are ready. See your highlights, click on that. It opens up Trace for you. It gives you 3 different options. I'm going to choose the full game because I want to get the highlights for my child and not actually the recap for the entire game. So full game. First thing that you need to do is check your settings. Coaches want to see the entire field. Trace automatically zooms in. It gives you this option to zoom in. It's very difficult for coaches to see the movement off of the ball if you're zoomed in. So the first thing I like to do is make sure you're in zoom out mode. Very important. I know your kid is farther away, but in the editing process, you can always zoom back in if you want to. So everything should be zoomed out. And then over here, if you go into this little tab, lines with the dots on the right-hand side, click on that, and it gives you options. These are great. I think it's really helpful to have the player name and the halo. So I always make sure these are turned on. Green is on. Sometimes Trace doesn't get it right and it chooses the wrong player. You can fix that by just turning off the player name and turning off the halo. And then in the editing process, they can add the circle later. So make sure these are on and then we are good to go. Okay. The next thing you want to do, see these 3 bars in the top left-hand corner. Hit those. Go to My Trace ID. And this is where you find all of your playlists and all of your games. Playlists are great. It gives you the opportunity to organize your favorite clips. And maybe you make a video once a year, and so you can have a playlist that says my favorites for 2025. Or maybe you do a video, a highlight for every single game. Maybe you go to a showcase and you go to 3 games and you want to create a showcase highlight video so that when you send thank yous to coaches, you can also send video of, hey, look, this is what I did this weekend. So it's up to you how you organize. Today, just for the purpose of showing you Trace, I'm going to create a new playlist and I'm going to call it Trace Tutorial. Hit create. And then you will see, unfortunately, Trace does not add your most recent playlist to the front. It adds it to the back. So I have to click on show all 18 playlists so that I can find Trace Tutorial. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the game that I want to create highlights for. And I'm just going to click the first one here, which is versus Sporting. I'm going to zoom back out because Trace likes to zoom in. I'm going to check my settings. We're all good. I'm going to go to 3543. There she goes. The right player is highlighted. It loses her for a minute, but the halo comes back. So I like this. I'm going to take it. So I'm going to go to save. I'm going to say save highlight. And then I'm going to choose where I want to save it to. I want to save it to the playlist I just made, which is Trace Tutorial. There we go. We've started making or organizing our highlights. Let's go down. What's going on at this one? She receives the ball, good first touch, shows a little bit of skill work, makes an accurate pass. I'm going to take it. So I'm going to hit save, save highlight. I'm going to go all the way down and choose Trace Tutorial. Okay, the next sample I'm going to give you is sometimes Trace doesn't get it right. Sometimes Trace clips your clip too early or too late, because it's really important. The coaches want to see what is the player doing off of the ball, not just on the ball. How is the player defending? How is the player moving to receive the pass, finding the pocket? We're going to go to the 29:45 clip, and it shows she's aggressive. I'd like to add this to my highlight. It looks like the play is over, but it's still going, and I want to make sure it grabs this. And then it hits, I don't know if you saw that, but the bar moved to the next highlight, which means that this clip that I want is cut into two different pieces. I don't want it to be cut into two different pieces. I want it to show as one clip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the first clip. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to say create your own. And this bar helps me decide when the clip starts and when it ends. So I think that's a good start. But I want it to end farther. So I drag the bar to where I want the clip to end. There she goes, aggressive. I actually want it to be a little bit longer, and then that's about good, and I'm going to hit continue. And I can call it something if I want. I can label it all of this if I want. I don't usually bother doing any of that. And I hit review changes, and I'm going to say create highlight. Uh-oh, it says I'm not logged in. I am logged in. Create highlight. There we go. I got confused for a moment. And then I created a highlight. It wants to know where I want to save it. I want to save it to the trace tutorial. Sometimes you even find yourself where the sunlight was hitting the camera and trace doesn't pick up the number on your kid's jersey. So you have to actually watch through the entire half and grab what you want. That's the same as, say for some reason I like this, and I want to keep that. Even though it's not my kid, this is just for an example. I'm gonna hit save, create my own. I'm gonna drag this to where I want it. That's the part of video I want. I hit continue, hit review changes, create highlight. Add it to the playlist that I'm saving. Okay, now when you've grabbed all of the highlights that you want, you go back to these three bars in the left-hand corner. You go to My Trace ID. You find your playlist. Remember, my playlist doesn't show up because it's all the way at the end. Trace tutorial. To export your playlist, you hit this download button here, and you hit this playlist. And depending on how long your playlist is, it takes maybe a couple minutes. Okay, now I'm going to check my email. And there it is, TraceBot. Download your video. Hit the download button and it'll download to your computer. And that's it. It's pretty easy. Now you've exported your highlights so that you can send them directly to your coach, or you can post them on Instagram, or send them to an editor like myself, and I will help you put together your highlight reel. Please subscribe, because I'll be posting some more interesting videos that might help you make your highlight reel.